Esse aí é a mesma coisa, só joga raio. Ah, eu acho que a live melhorou agora. Eu tirei as configurações que eu tinha colocado antes pra teste. Eu devia testar na roxinha. E pra variar, esse aqui tá bugado. Isso aqui. Pronto. Vamos ver se é assim também, ó. Eu venho aqui, coloco isso aqui pra capturar. Aqui é outra coisa, depois eu coloco pra capturar isso, aí eu coloco aqui. Aí eu dou uma aumentada, deixo isso no personagem. Vou deixar aqui no canto. Vou deixar aqui. Vou deixar aqui. Pronto. Você tá vendo minha live? Demônio, fiquei no lugar errado. Aí entrou de boa. Teleporte na água? Tá chovinho aqui. Eu acho que dá pra fazer oração. Da hora. Voltei. Sabe, Arthur? Dei uma reiniciada pra ver se melhora. Tá melhor agora? Eu imagino que sim. A tela aí em cima é o quê? Meu primo tá em cal, ele tá compartilhando a tela. Aí cada um tá fazendo uma coisa diferente. Eu acho que tá meio... Deixar maior aí cobre a minha. Aqui tá lá em cima. Ah, achei. De óculos. V1 de estamina. O que eu ia fazer mesmo? Acho que eu pra persão. Tá bem melhor. Uma comidinha aqui já volto. Beleza. A gente muda pra... Seu quarto. Entendeu? Comentado lá de ir atrás de um bule mágico que você cria sua casa dentro. Ah, e lembra daquela bússola que eu falei que eu achava extremamente inútil que era pra caçar baú? Aparentemente na próxima TT eles já vão melhorar ela, até mesmo localizar exatamente onde voltar, deixando ela extremamente melhor.
You've arrived at just the right moment.
Oh, what is...
Oh, no. In fact, my...
A gift? For Paimon?
When you traversed my old tea... That, fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy.
Ah, é. Pra ser inútil ela tinha que dar uma... Hã? Ser inútil ela tinha que dar uma... A opção. Qual que deve procurar.
Oh, I will not go... The teapot that you entered previously...
So,
Digamos.
in the...
Oh, indeed. But that's enough nostalgia for now.
That's right! Findings...
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. What's more, I doubt that you would know how. Well, for starters, I require. You would have to dig down, but almost no one has been even more difficult. In any case, Smaragdus Jade. Goodness knows if.
Well, since
Ô,
Yes.
atualmente você tá focando no que no seu jogo aí?
counts,
Tá focando na história ou você tá focando em quest secundária e dungeons e
bump
etc?
into them all the
Level.
time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an Adeptus and never even know it.
Essa história da gente tentar fazer. É isso.
Maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends.
I'm back, Granny.
Vovó?
Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. Yenfei.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you became one of Liu's before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being
200.
cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame.
Eu ia ver se você queria testar o negócio do...
Allow me to introduce. Oh, yes. Here's my business card.
Oh.
You'll find if you have an urgent issue.
O nome?
All right, Yenfei. You'll have to
Esqueci o nome do
excuse
bagulho. Ele é tipo um
Yenfei.
teleporte
She's
escuro lá.
always been like this.
Was gonna ask.
An
Portes,
adeptus?
sei lá.
He mentioned that they
Dá
had
bastante
me,
gema
and
e eu
once I-
acredito.
my dad- Anyway, let's not dwell on.
Is that
Qualquer coisa eu
so,
vejo
Yenfei?
e mando
I
print.
know, Granny, you've told me. Whoa. Commercial consultant Crossel. A Snezhnayan merchant. He mentioned that he was so, I guess I'll go look for. Oh, you want to join?
Tá. Não, não é ele não. Recife. Aí, achei. O nome é Abismo. Só que eu não sei o level pra você invadir o abismo. Deixa eu ver se eu descubro. E se ele dá XP. Pra ver descobrir se eu tenho valor na minha casa pra comer. Aí é triste, amigo. Abandona. Ele não dá XP, mas ele dá as estrelinhas lá de roletagem. Dá 100 a cada nível que você faz. Quer desbloquear pra ver se você consegue pelo menos fazer? Ou em que level que você consegue fazer? Deixa eu ver a sua resposta, que eu tenho que ficar migrando de tela. Fazendo também, level 26, eu não meti essa. O cara voando por cima da água, tá ligado? Dá muitos. Mas você quer dar uma testada pelo menos ou você quer continuar fazendo as quests aí? Tranquilão. É 16 pra desbloquear o multiplayer. Tá, lembrei. Tem que ir lá pegar os recursos pra fazer a quest. Ficar calado aqui na live porque tô vendo o jogo da Fortaleza. Beleza, amigo. O NPC bugou e voltou. I believe I can fly.
Hello, Mr. Crossel. How's business been?
Ué, bugou.
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei. What brings you here today? Miss Yanfei.
Wait, isn't Smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting
No, I'm not worried. The contract makes it quite. In return, I included a clause that.
Guaranteed genuine?
Of course. This one.
In that case, my...
Oh, of course.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell.
Por isso, sei lá quem. Grau. Por sorte cai na frente.
Oh, whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me.
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of... My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. That's what the hairpins, but now that I've lost...
Diálogo.
Why does Paimon have a set?
Would you really? I sent a commission to the event...
Hold on. Don't...
Huh?
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's illegal. True.
Right. I finished reading the Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation...
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Jichao looks like she's about to faint.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find... Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding...
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the jade...
Please. Please, however much it is, now that it's come to the...
Yes, legally speaking. So hold on a moment.
What did I feel? My family has seen...
Smooth to the touch. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things.
Ah, merda. É quest sobre grampo de cabelo.
Ah, Miss Yan. You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
I'm sorry.
Mora! Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that smoke? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes. And if I may just confirm, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus Jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last Mora that...
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk.
A quest sobre grampo de cabelo. Sei lá, onde é que eu tenho que ir?
Time to go.
Feel free to take a look around.
What should I put in?
Vambora. Amizade. Poxa. O marco seguinte. Com isso, 2 horas de jogo. Resumo desse boneco: se você não é de água, corre. Padrão. Posso completar a quest do bully agora, jogo?
Miss Yanfei, what is this about?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the Orin laid on those hairpins.
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living.
Essa mina acabou de resumir metade do jogo em um diálogo. Eu tô vendo que você tá no meio do ar aí, mas depois que você terminar e for pro chão, dá uma olhada nesse diálogo. Ela acabou de resumir o jogo.
I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very constant. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case, and in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even the slightest bit unwell. I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Croswell's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose—
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. Eventually, and then he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions.
Well then, since you're so...
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr.
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even... It feels like Yanfei is even more
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract. Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then...
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7...
This contract has so many pages!
Alright, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through. Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite... I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case...
Miss Yunfei, I have to ask...
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geo-energy around Mr. Crossel. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way, it's a lead. As long as we've seen the... But again, let's not dwell on this. I've got it.
Quanto
Mr.
diálogo.
Crossel had his...
É o gordinho que eu comprei uma pedra
hello
louca
there,
antes.
honored customers. Welcome to... Oh, it's you, Miss Yanfei.
No, nothing of the sort. Has the SNES or processing...
A Snezhnayan... I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, he was quite generous with his money too, so I didn't give it too much thought.
Do you have any leftover
Why, yeah. First time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later. There.
Thank you.
Ah, eu ultei sem querer, velho.
If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest
Ué.
that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings.
Aí, voltei. Por algum motivo bugou aqui.
Yes, valuable. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy.
Is that so? Well, so did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao is able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards?
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very there may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an and, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
Alright, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But never mind, Shirto. Why?
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's...
Aqui. Aqui.
Miss Yen.
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossel did indeed claim that...
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the
Of course.
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the,
Yes, I see.
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossel won't dare try.
On the contrary, if you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jeweler. Aha! Got it! Singxi. She often
Quick, how come you know so many people?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is
Mano,
the
eu tô
city of
lidando com o quê? Com uma
contracts.
mina
And
de...
contracts
de...
very important
Ô,
to
mano,
us.
ela não
The
para de falar de
amendments
ler as
made as
coisas?
such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service indeed.
Caralho, mano.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
Ô, dá uma zoiada aí no DC.
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread
Mano,
and
eu tô
butter,
lidando
you
com uma
know?
advogada, velho.
Oh, this has nothing to
Oh,
do
mano,
with being an adeptus. I just like
Again with
Só
that
queria solar um dragão.
Well, that's that then. Let's go.
Solar um Fenrir, tá ligado? Aí do nada começa a conversar com uma advogada sobre um cara ter assaltado a mulher. É isso. Voltei. Meu Discord tá bugando por algum motivo, eu não sei o que é. Pronto, vambora. Ah, é aquele ali.
Time to go.
E morreu de novo.
Oh, Miss Yenfei, it's you.
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. Has a merchant by the
Crosel. Yeah, the design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according
Ah, eu
to
acho que
his
eu resolvi. Eu dei uma
This
resetada no
order was on
navegador.
hold for a very long time, and only
doesn't seem like the
Miss Inksy, I'd like for
Yes, I'm sure of it. Mr. Crosel, I also kept a copy for my own records. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite.
Thank you, Sinksy. Now,
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway.
nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boop.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to?
Because only he can provide an authority. Once we have this final piece of evidence.
Bichu, 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 bichu. Eu vou comprar isso aqui. Eu não tenho gema. Tem como eu vender recursos lixo e pegar esse bagulho? É, pior que não.
Traveler, please, over here. It has been a while
Ué.
since you joined this guild. Are your adventures going smoothly? Is that so? Apart from your own skills, reliable teammates are another person to count on is always good after all. But recruiting such dependable companions is no easy matter, is it?
Yep, and it's even harder to get a guy.
Ah, yes. I do have some info. Let me consult our records.
Blonde. Wait, do you mean... Does that stranger's face look anything like his?
Like the honorary knights? No, they couldn't look more different. This stranger is a very tall man, and even has an eye patch.
Seriously? How does this have anything to do with Kaya? Eye patches can't prove that you're related anyway.
That stranger declined the guild's invitation, so I can't say that I know anything about the relationship between him and Mr. Kaya. Nonetheless, you can look for him if you're interested. Perhaps, after all, it is not. And should the stranger be a strong adventurer indeed, he would certainly be a
Quanto
big help on your
diálogo.
journey. Please don't talk down on yourself like that. You are the honorary knight of the Knights of Favonia. Your deeds are the stuff of song for all the bards in the city, even now.
Caraca. Ô, dá uma ligada aí. Esse que tu percebe que você é um cara foda no reino.
Well, as to further news about him, you may. He stands guard at the. I wish you every success.
Pula, demônio. Beleza. Terminando a quest pra pegar o bully lá. Aí nós vai. Tem uns bagulho aqui que eu tô sem comida. Mano, eu tô rico no jogo, velho. Agora na parte de craftar. Eu tenho que pegar isso aqui que eu deixei pegando. Aí eu desbloqueei a receita, eu desbloqueei a receita. Ixi. Tá bom. Vamos terminar a quest. Ela bugou de novo. Pronto. Arrumou meu boneco.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, and if it isn't Miss Yenfei...
No, I'm
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 mountain treatises. The Seven Mountain Treatises states that it is abundant in elemental energy. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yanfei, and given the ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the
That is indeed the case.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document, won't take me a moment. But after I gave him my reply, his expression... I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to this...
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju. Thank you for
You're too kind.
That Baiju guy is as weird as ever. Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back there?
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need.
Será que eu finalmente termino essa tralha?
Miss Yanfei, have you finished? You will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss...
Of course. Mr. Crossell, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin Phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact... Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus Jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus Jadeite and Smaragdus Nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus Nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus Jadeite. So I had him cut away the Nephrite, he returned the valuable Jadeite core to me, and some Nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about
Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't...
Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler. Oh, come on. I meant the backup copy of the document from the Ministry of Civil...
This document proves that my hairpins are...
Our second piece of...
All the evidence show...
Well, hang on a moment now, because, Traveler, would you do the honors?
What?
Smaragdus Jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus Jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious malady, while in serious... Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus Jadeite?
I...
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the ministry. However, I'm sure that the ministry will be relatively lenient. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed over to the ministry. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait!
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear, Mr. Crossell. But if you
Huh? No, I...
aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite, is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yep, he's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost
Acabou as
indistinguishable from
quests.
Smaragdus jadeite.
Já te ajudo terminando isso aqui. Diálogo
I
pra
kept
variar.
the real Smaragdus jadeite and especially made. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why
Exactly. If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her piss?
I didn't want to either. But when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hair.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract.
10 times.
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite.
There's no need. Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for...
Ms.
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead?
What? But I don't...
Miss Yunfei, I'll turn the Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as...
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yunfei.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Miss...
Well,
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further...
Is that so?
actually, Mr. Crossell, I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have if we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice...
Meu Deus, eles vão calar a boca!
We've got the Smaragdus jadeite that
Exactly.
on the problem.
Aí, voltei.
The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was an Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job in any case.
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet...
Aparentemente é agora que eu vou conseguir finalmente o bagulho do bully. Tira, coloca de novo. Pronto. Tomara que termine logo, eu já tô cansado dessa tralha.
Time to go.
Ué, onde eu tenho que ir?
Ah, you've returned. Were you able? Good, good. Then we.
Well, if we're all...
Oh, you. All right then. Go see to your business.
I'm off then. Bye! Oh yes, traveler. Make sure you... I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish.
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
Pô, regada fugindo do trabalho, olha lá.
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father. Yan Fei, my. Leo is.
I'm so excited!
There we go. This
E ela
serenity
ganha
pot
bule de
is
chá.
all yours now. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Wait a minute, Granny!
Oh, you needn't worry about that.
Eu coloquei um assistente dentro do bully. Ela fala como se tivesse inteligência artificial nessa bosta. Nossa, que da hora! Ô, calma aí que eu vou mandar pra gente. Olha que da hora. Que foda, eu ainda posso escolher a paisagem do meu bully, pelo que parece. Acho que eu vou escolher a moradia flutuante. Que maneiro, velho. Dá uma olhada aí. Minha casinha vai ser nas nuvens, foda-se.
This teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's! Huh. But there's just a whole load of nothing around it.
Que filha da puta, eu falei isso. As caixas de diálogo que eu posso mandar pra Paimon. A comida de emergência. Putz, vai morar comigo não, vai morar sozinho, otário. Vai cavar um túnel.
There's a perfectly good house right over there! Why should Paimon have to live in a hole in the ground?
Porque tem que morar no chão? Porque ninguém atura essa criança infeliz.
Still, why is it so empty here apart from that? Oh, wait a second.
Ah, não. Não, né?
Well, it seems
É um
that
pombo.
we have a visitor. It's a huge finch! Excuse me, hang on a moment. Oh, call me. I suppose you may call me Tubby. So you're the little helper, Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, you may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me. Your journey may be far from over. Though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, thus, we teapot spirits were created. You may consider me a butler. Now, allow me to have you any blueprints on you? As long as you have a blueprint, you can refashion this blueprints?
Que da hora, então eu posso montar meu reino.
Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about. Just commit the image of the objects to memory and then simply release. Wow! Is that all it
Ah, chega de brincar de The Sims. Deixa eu ir embora.
I doubt it. He said, this world is not a golden idol. I hardly remember myself. Well, let's not dwell on that. If there's any...
Posso ir embora? Pera aqui, eu posso quebrar as árvores? Quebrar a árvore para pegar material. Com material eu construo a casa. Coloque decorações para aumentar o nível de força do adepto. O seu bully. Conforme o nível aumenta, moeda mágica se acumula. Ah, então aumentando o nível dele eu ganho dinheiro. Gaste as moedas comprando acessórios e... é uma bosta. Legal. Tô indo embora. Como é que eu vazo? Boas quests, não tem nada pra fazer. Já tô indo pra aí. F7. Caraca, um The Sims mesmo, mané. Anual. Tá, só deixa eu descobrir como é que eu saio do meu bully e aí eu entro no teu mapa. Caraca, eu consegui coletar 2 árvores. Que foda. Não, não quero criar réplica. Quero ir embora desse mundo. Pra ir embora eu tenho que abrir o bully de novo, é isso? É isso mesmo. Tá. F2. Eu não sei quem é meu amigo. Yahoo! Let's go. Fala, parceiro. Pina gato. Não, mas nem ferrando que eu vou ficar com esses 2 bonecos. Cadê meus outros bonecos bons? Troca esse. Ah. Pera. Esse pra esse. Esse pra esse. E aqui. Aí volta. Aí vai na conquista. Aí eu coleto as conquistas do meu reino. Personagens. Vai no... Cadê? Aprimora essa bosta. Agora eu só tenho que pegar mais recursos. Perfeito. Vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá, vamos lá. Aqui. Operação rápida. Joga tudo no max. Agora vem nessa aqui. Configuração rápida. Max. Aqui, equipa, joga tudo max. E por último essa aqui, equipa max.
Water comes in many flavors to the discernment and has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
Fucking God. Opa. Agora eu vim.
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
Não, se não me engano esse aqui é o das Preda. Esse aqui é o elemental é de quê? É, minhas costas tá bloqueada.
The case before us is a strange and unprecedented one indeed.
Aumentando a proficiência.
I'll remind you again. The law can be both a help and a hindrance.
Tá ao vivo, mas não tem vídeo. Não tem o quê? Entendi não. Ué, como assim? O OBS aparece.
The case before us is a strange and unprecedented one indeed.
Tá bugado. Vê se aparece agora. Calma aí, só posso ser sacanagem, né?
I'll remind you again. The law can be both a help and a hindrance. Sometimes the law is compatible with human nature, but sometimes the two conflict. Balancing the two is a discipline in its own right. The case before us is a strange and unprecedented one indeed.